it straight down, and then go across. Just enough to ripple it a little. Just something like so. And we can give him a little pond right out here in front of his house. Just a little pond. Take a little of the Van Brack dark sienna mixed together. And let's put some banks out here. Little places. Got a little beaver maybe lives in here. He's got to have a little place to stand. There we go. Goes right on around. Somewhere in here. Something like that. You know, wherever. Wherever. A little touch of brown and white. And here and there. Indication of a little highlight. Think about angles, though. Most important. Most important here. There. Just a few little things. Don't want too much. Tell you what, let's do. Let's take some liquid white, put it out here, some dark sienna and Van Dyke brown mixed with it. There. And let's get our old filbert brush. I like to make rocks with the old filbert brush. That works so well. So well. Let's go right into Van Dyke brown and dark sienna. Just mix them together like that. Like so. Both sides. Then we go over to the thin paint and just pull one side through. So we got dark on one side and light on the other. Now then, touch. And that quick, you can make the indication of a lot of little happy stones that live right out here in the edge of the water. Wherever you want them. And as many or as few as you want. Okay, maybe over in here there's some. Let's see. Okay, just sort of pick around. Pick out the ones that you like. Maybe there's even a few out in the water. Who knows? Who knows? If you put them out in the water, grab the bottom of them, pull down with a little fan brush or something, and then go across. That way there'll be a reflection under the stones too. Just pull straight down and go across, just a little. Just catch the bottom of them, pull them across and down. Now then, we can take a little bit of liquid white. I'll put a little gray in it. Some of that black and white, a little bit of black in there. Because I want a gray color for this. But it's thin paint. And we can come in here and we can just add just a few little water lines along in here. Something like so. Wherever we want them. There they are. See there though? And these water lines will sort of clean up the bottom of your stones and your land and bring it all together. And it really adds a little finishing touch to your painting. There. Okay. Don't want this little stone left out. Give him a little ripple too. And on the other side, same thing. Same thing over here. Just give a little ripple here and there. Now we can take a fan brush here. I have one that has a little green on it. Yellow ochre, Indian yellow. A little bright red maybe once in a while. And we can push in a few little happy grassy things that come right down and bring all that together. So the land area is just not a straight line across there. That sort of bothers me when it's just straight. So by pushing upward with the corner of the fan brush, you can create all these little bushes here. Shoot, I tell you what. Let's take the liner brush, a little bit of bright red, thin it down, and let's sign this little rascal. Hope you've enjoyed this one. This will show you how the little opening was made. There. And with that, we're going to call this painting finished. And from all of us here, we'd like to wish you happy painting. Look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, God bless. Hi, welcome back. I'm certainly glad you could join me today. And I thought today we'd just do a fantastic little painting, maybe sort of like a little fantasy painting. I think you'll enjoy it. So I tell you what, let's have them start out, run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with me. While they're doing that, let me show you what I've done up here. Today I've taken a little black gesso on my standard old 18 by 24 inch pre-stretched double prime canvas, and I've just sort of painted a little design right here. It just sort of goes around and right on into nothing there. It looks like a big eye or something right in the center. Now then, I've let the black gesso dry completely, and then onto that I've taken a little bit, a very small amount of the liquid clear, and covered the entire canvas. So a very, very small amount. And then we've just made a mixture of alizarin crimson, a little phthalo blue to make a lavender, and we've covered the entire canvas with it. And that's all we do. The only reason I put the liquid clear on the top of the black gesso is to make the application of the firm lavender color much, much easier. And you'll see that it really pays you great dividends. And I thought today is such a fantastic day that we just have a good time. So let's start out today with a little titanium white. Right on the old 2-inch brush. Shoot, get right in there with the big one. And we'll just load a little color onto the bristles just by tapping. Pull a little color out and just tap it. That's all you have to do. Okay, let's go right up here. Now today, I want to have a nice light shining right out of this area. So we're going to start right in here with this very light paint, this pure white, and just begin working this outward. Just let it work outward. Just making like little crisscross strokes right there. This will be our light area in this painting. I want to do a painting, I think in my mind I see a painting that, well, like maybe there's big trees here and there's like a stream of light coming through here. It's just zinging right through there like that. And we can even take and pull it, and it gives that impression already. But that's going to be our light source in this painting. And these paintings can be done in a multitude of colors. I've just picked lavender today because that's a nice color. It's a nice day, so I thought it would work well. But you could do them like in phthalo blue or sap green or any of the transparent colors. And if you're in doubt as to whether a color is transparent or not, take a little bit of it on your finger and just rub it on a black canvas. If the canvas still looks black, then it's transparent enough for what we're doing. It may only be semi-transparent, but it'll work for what we're doing. If you put it on here, like white, for example, you put it on here and you can see the color, then it's not transparent enough for what we're doing, okay? That's an easy way to try it out and see. Let's wash your brush. That's the fun part. Shake it off and just have a good time with it. Okay, tell you what, let's go right up here. Let's have a little lavender, a little phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, and we'll just sort of mix these on the brush. I want this lavender color more to the red side, so we'll add more crimson than normal. There. And I'm just going to tap a little color into the bristles. Be right back. Let me get a little touch of white. I want to lighten that even more. There, maybe even a little more of the reddish color. Good, I like that. Tap a little color right into the bristles, like so. Okay, let's go right up here. Maybe back in here, we can make out the indication of some nice little trees that are hanging over here. So all we want to do here is just put the indication of some beautiful little branches right here. I don't want this to get too dark because it'll ruin that illusion back there. There. And all we're looking for is very basic little shapes. We're not looking for detail at this point. Just very, very basic little shapes. Maybe back in here you can see the indication of some very soft little things. Okay, now then, let's take our liner brush. We'll dip it in a little of the paint thinner, and we'll go right into that same color. We want this to be thin like water though, thin as ink, and turn the bristles when you pull them out. That'll bring it to a very sharp point. See there? Okay, let's go up here. Now then, we can go back in here and begin putting here and there the indication of a few sticks and little limbs that you can see, little trunks. There, see, just drop those on wherever you think they should live. That's exactly where they should live. There. Wouldn't this be a perfect place for my little squirrel to live? I hope you've got to see him during this series. I've showed him a couple of times. Actually, it's a she, but beautiful little creature. There we go. Okay, maybe right here we can see something that's a little bigger. Just sort of let your imagination go here. Now then, let's wash the old brush. Let me find another 2-inch brush. We'll take a 2-inch brush here, and I want to make a very, very light lavender color. Very light. So I'll pick up a little of that lavender that we were using, go into the titanium white, maybe even a little more of the crimson. Ooh, that's nice. That's very nice. Or you could use a little touch of the bright red. Let's have a little of that. That's even better. Now, tap the bristles. Once again, that loads that little edge of paint right out on the tips of the bristle there. Just give it a tap, a little push. You can see that little ridge of paint comes up right there. There's also a corresponding one on the bristles, and that's what we actually paint with. Now then, we can go up here, and the light's singing through here, so we're going to have some very bright areas. There we go. Just tap them in. That's beautiful. And it works so easy. All we're using is just the corner of the brush. Just the corner of the brush. See? And just begin thinking about all the little various shapes here. There. All kinds of nice things just sort of hanging around there. There we go. And you have to make a decision where they live and how many there are and where they hang out at. There. Maybe a little more right there. Now, and that gives us a nice light area in this painting, right back in here. Very lightly. One hair and some air. Just barely touch. You can pull over that to help create that illusion of light rays coming through there. But just barely touch so you don't distort any of this that you've painted up here. Now then, let's go back into our lavender color, and we'll begin working forward with this. Just begin working forward. Take a little of the lavender on the 2-inch brush, load it the same way, and maybe we begin to see some little tree shapes that are closer to us. All we're doing right now is putting on some dark, so our light will show when we put it in there. There. This is the way we begin creating distance and depth in this painting. And we're not concerned with this side over here. All we're looking for is this nice edge right here. At this point, later on we'll be concerned with everything. But right now, that's all we're interested in. Now then, let's take a little more of that light color. And as you notice, we're working in layers. Tap a little bit more of that light color onto the brush. Just tap it on there. Maybe even pick up a little there, a little bit more of the phthalo blue. As it gets farther away from the light source, it's going to get a little darker, a little more blue into it. There. Okay, let's go up here and try this. Now then, we can begin coming in here. Ooh, that's nice. There. Isn't that fantastic, though, that you can take a brush this big and make something that looks that delicate? And you can. You really can. There we go. These are beautiful paintings to give to, if you have a young friend. This is a super painting for a young friend, because this looks like something right out of a fairy tale if you do it right. And you could go back and add in any kind of little characters that you wanted to, whatever. Maybe there's going to be a path down here, so we'll begin hanging some nice grassy things that hang right over the edge of this path, just like so. And we'll come back and work on those a little in a minute. Right now, all we're doing is putting in some basic ideas. There. Okay. Let's go to the other side. Phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, and you can just mix these on the brush as you go, or you can mix up a pile when you first start. Either way, whichever is easiest. Okay, now over here on the other side, let's come right up in here. Maybe there's some big trees here that are hanging over like this. Now these are much darker because the light is coming from the other direction. These are very dark. And this darkness here will make that light look even brighter. The fact that this is so dark, see how that contrast just shows up? You can make some unbelievable effects, like it's playing light against dark, dark against light. This black gesso, it's got to be one of the most fantastic things that I've ever came up with. There we go. It is unreal. Now then, on this side, I want these trees, as I say, to be much, much darker. So let's take, we'll use the same old brush that we've been using for highlights, but we're going to add a lot more of the blue and the lavender, so it's quite a bit darker. Quite a bit darker. And once again, load the brush by giving it a little push. That creates that little ridge of paint. You can just see it pushing right up there. If it's not pushing up on your palette like this, chances are it's also not on your bristles. So that's a good way to sort of test it. I get a lot of letters asking about this, and this is the best way to test it. Push. Give it a little push, okay? Now then, with that little ridge of paint that we've built up there, now we can come up here and just begin putting in all kinds of little things. We'll let them get darker and darker up in here. There they come. Wherever you think they should be. There. Here comes a nice one. There it is. It hangs right out over here. Like so. Okay, maybe. And think about form and shape here. Don't just throw these in at random. Think about them. Think about them. Maybe here comes another one. It comes up, goes over. See, all these little things. There. Okay, maybe right there. Wherever you want them. This really is an individual thing. Look at your painting, because every single painting is going to be different. Everyone's going to be different. One thing that we try to teach you is not to copy. We only want to teach you how to do a method of painting, a style of painting, and then turn you loose on the world. Because once you know how to do it, then what you do becomes the joy of painting. Because you can paint anything that makes you happy, that brings joy to you and to those that you care about, or those that are around you. There we go. Now then, I'm going to add a little touch more. Maybe we'll add a little more crimson to that, just to change the taste a little bit. Still loading the brush the same exact way, though. Push. There we go. See, that's a beautiful close-up there. You can see that right up tight. Exactly how it's loaded. A little push, okay? Now then, right in here, we have some things that are hanging out. And I made these a little lighter because in my mind, I think a little more light would strike right there. There we go. A little bit hanging right down there. Just all kinds of things. Maybe up in here. I don't know. Wherever you think there might be some big bushes and trees and things growing, just sort of lay them in. You'd think maybe there's little elves or leprechauns playing in here. There, add a little touch of the bright red to that. Just once again, just to change the flavor a little. But these dark ridges that were in here from the paintbrush, and I use a foam applicator brush just to put this black gesso on, these dark ridges here actually can become the walls. If there's a little path here, maybe this is a recessed area, but you use these things that happen. Don't fight them. All kinds of magic happens here. All right. Now, maybe on the other side here, look at where you think a light would zing through, and you can add a little bit of titanium white right there, right out on the end of the bristles. See, and it'll give the impression that light's just zinging right through there, hitting a few little things. Don't overdo though, or it'll lose its effectiveness. We want to create that illusion of light coming through, maybe a little touch right out here. There we go. And that's about all we need there.